The bridge of stay-away is important. It's historically important, and historians will talk about it in the future after we all perish. Hey Hodies, welcome back to my channel. My name is hautemesstom, and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today what we're going to be doing is a top shelf video. So the top shelf video is kind of like a favorite. It's mostly about like what I've been using a lot recently, so it's not so much like new things I've been testing, because if that were the case, this would just be a surratt video part 2, and it's not to say that surratt products aren't going to show up in here. It's just the products that I most enjoy reaching for. This was started by Kackie of Kackie Reviews Beauty. She does top shelf videos, I think like quarterly. I felt like I haven't done one in a while. I've done one before, and I like this format better than just like a straight up favorites video. But if you happen to be new to my channel, hi, welcome. My channel is mostly about loving my makeup collection as it currently is, while being critical and a little bit cynical of new makeup releases. But we're all allowed to navigate the beauty space however we'd like. So if you want to buy every release and that's what makes you happiest, that's great, and I want you to keep doing that. But my focus on my channel is to just really try to love my collection first and foremost. That's not to say that I don't receive PR or buy new things for review, because I do those things as well, but I just try to be really discerning about what I actually keep and like be a little realistic about my makeup collection, even though it's still too large. So if that kind of content sounds good to you, I would love to have you subscribe. Make sure to like the video. I'm on patreon.com if you would like to support me there. There's no pressure to, you're welcome to, but Patreon is a great way to support me. If you want to see more reviews from me, the more funding I have, the more likely that's going to happen. But again, liking, commenting, fabulous ways to support me. Also, I have a podcast with my friend Tiffany that's on Spotify. That's linked down below if you want to hear more content from me. It's very fun. It's a lot different than what I do here. So if you want to hear a different side of me, you can check that podcast out. So I want to start with like non-makeup items, and some of these are going to be weird, and some of them are going to be like, you know, skincare or other things. So the first thing that I've been enjoying, something that sparks joy for me lately, is my background. I love this background, and it's not the most complicated thing, and I don't think it's perfect, but I like love it. It's mine. I've gotten a lot of good feedback about it from you, and I think that it has a lot to do with, and this isn't to like shit on anyone else's background. A lot of YouTubers have like very bright backgrounds, and mine's pretty dark. And like, I am recording this, it is light outside and you can't even tell because it's like so dark. But I think that plus the background, it's funny because this wallpaper isn't very dark, but it sucks up the light, which is funny because it's reflective, it's like shiny. But I think all of it together with the lamp that you sometimes get whenever I move my head, it's like a nice ambiance, but it also makes me really happy. It makes me like my room a lot more. I've talked a lot about how like I've lived here for a really long time, but I've never like gone about making the space feel like my own. And so now that I'm doing that, it feels really nice, and I'm really happy that I've started to do that. So I'm a big fan of this background. It's really sparking joy. The second thing that sparks joy for me recently, and this is gonna sound really bizarre, is stretching. You might be a person who stretches every day. I'm not. I wasn't. I'm trying to be. I probably should just be stretching because I'm like getting older, and it's probably like good for me to stretch. And not only that, like I'm not like super sedentary. So I have a walking pad. So when I work, I like do half of my work standing and then half of it sitting. I switch from sitting to walking, standing and walking. So I go back and forth all day. I average like about 20,000 steps a day. I'm walking, I'm doing something physical. Not only that, I also have a Peloton, which I ride most days. And I just like wasn't stretching beyond the very quick stretch they do at the end of Peloton. And then I realized that like, I'm probably gonna hurt myself if I keep doing this. And it's like, I'm not a spring chicken. Like I'm in my 30s now. So I probably should start really considering it. I am flexible. And now that I've been stretching again, I'm getting some of that flexibility back. Like I can do a split right now. I probably shouldn't do a split right now, if that makes sense, right? Like I'm stretching more and I'm already getting some of it back, but I'm not pushing myself too hard. But like while me and Tiffany watch Survivor at the end of every night, that's typically when I do it. I will just do my leg stretches. I mostly stretch my legs because I'm not doing too much with this part of my body, like the top half of my body. I'm mostly concerned about the lower half of my body. That's where most of my like physical activity comes from, is just the lower body. But like, you know, I'll stretch my arms sometimes, but not like thoroughly. But my arms don't ever feel tight. But since I've been stretching, my legs have felt much less pain. And that has been nice. Not that it's one of those things where I don't think I would have said that my legs were in pain until I started stretching very seriously. And then I was like, oh, I've been in pain. Like I've just been in like a long-term chronic pain relationship with my legs, and I was just like, that's just how they feel, and that's just how they should feel. I'm not saying that that's right, it's just like was my reality. Also, Tiffany bought this neck stretcher thing that we've been using, and I don't want to recommend any tools to you, so I'm not going to link it down below because I'm not a doctor and I can't tell you what stretches are good for you. And I don't know if this thing is really good for our neck, but it feels nice. And I enjoy that. And then if for some reason we find out that that's a harmful thing to us, then we'll stop using it. Let's talk a little bit about fragrance, which I don't often talk about. We're like heading out of summer into fall. And like there certainly is a fall fragrance, but I just want to celebrate the fragrances that I've enjoyed wearing most this summer. The first is Salt from Ellis Brooklyn, which I always want to say Brooklyn Ellis. It smells like the ocean if she was really hot. I mean, the ocean probably is hot, like hotter than it should be, global warming, whatever. Climate change. What do we call it now? Remember there was a hole in the ozone first and then, well, maybe not first. I don't know. What did we call it in the 80s? I wasn't here, so can't comment. It's so sexy smelling. It smells like being on the, it doesn't smell like suntan lotion on the beach. It smells like if there were no people rubbing suntan lotion on their bodies on the beach. You were standing on the beach and like someone really sexy was standing next to you and you were like a little bit sweaty. It's dusk. And it's, I don't know that it has like the best longevity, but it makes me feel really sexy. When are they not? But whenever like I'm getting my body to the people, whenever the girls are out, this is a great fragrance. I sprayed in between the girls, sprayed kind of all over. Listen, I didn't say I was the best at speaking about fragrance, but that's the vibe. That I'm going to tell you the vibe of these fragrances. I'm not going to tell you what they actually smell like because I don't really, I'll put the notes and stuff on the screen for you. That's probably more helpful. But this is delicious. Okay, let's move on to another one I like to. So that's like sexy, nighttime, summer. This is daytime, bright, beautiful. It is the Clean Reserve Solar Bloom. And I've talked about this a lot. Well, no. Okay, when I have talked about fragrance, I touched down on Solar Bloom. I have almost nothing left. I should just finish it. It's such a good fragrance. It smells like the beach if people are applying suntan lotion. I don't think it actually smells like suntan lotion, but it's daytime, it's bright, it's colorful umbrellas in your drink. It's not like coconutty or anything like that. It just smells like fresh and bright. And I don't really associate this scent with anything. Sometimes I buy fragrances like when I'm traveling because I'm like, this will remind me of that particular time because this is what I've smelled like throughout that experience. But this one is different because I think I got it not during lockdown, but like right after lockdown. I think I got this in gratis when I worked at Sephora. I mean, I know I got it in gratis because it's scribed. They didn't scribe it. Interesting. If I would have taken this to work, I would have gotten in trouble. Well, it doesn't smell like suntan lotion to me. Like Tom Ford's Soleil. What is that called? Soleil. I have it in a body oil. That smells like suntan lotion. And this one has like a little bit of a hint of that, but it's not the whole thing. I think it has like fruity scents in it, but it doesn't smell fruity. I love it. Finally, for fragrances, this is like probably not so much a summer scent. It's like leading into fall, but this is like another nighttime fragrance. It's Wall Street from Bond No. 9. Okay, this one's it's sharp. It's sharp. I mean, it's called Wall Street. So if you're not familiar with Bond No. 9, I'm not going to be able to give you the whole history of it, but like I've gone to Bond counters many times in my life. I love the whole thing. But so each one of their fragrances is like different streets or different neighborhoods in New York City. I think they're supposed to kind of give the vibe. So if you're thinking Wall Street, one could be like, aren't they all going to smell like Sauvage? And again, I've, shit on Sauvage and then some of you were like, I wear it. You can do whatever you want. But it's not simple. It's like much sharper. And I love layering this with something really fruity because of how it's not on a beach. We're no longer on a beach. We've left the beach. We're in a city. We're out at night in this city. We're wearing all black because we're feeling sophisticated. Oh, I'm gonna spray it on me. I really like this. I bought this to layer with the scent of peace, the regular scent of peace from Bond No. 9. And when it hits the skin, it loses that really sharp bit of it. And then obviously, with all of our skin chemistries, it would smell different, all of this. But I think that if a woman would smell really sexy in this. I love this fragrance. I mean, I feel powerful. I feel it's a good one for whenever I feel a little bit more masculine, but it doesn't feel too masculine. The scent of peace for men, if you're familiar with this line, the scent of peace of men sometimes for me feels a little too masculine, which is why I have for him and then also the regular one. I wear the regular one a lot more, but like this one, also it's like something to like beef up something that feels really florally to give it like a little bit something to sit on. When I bought it, I wasn't sure I was going to wear it so much, but I've worn it, I think, more than the scent of peace for him. And I thought I would wear that a lot more, but I really like that scent. Now we're going to talk about something that I don't often dive into on my channel. So when I talk about this, we're talking about skincare. and this is skincare that is good for me. So when I tell you about the skincare that I use, I need you to know that even though I am a licensed esthetician, it doesn't mean I play by the rules. I play fast. I play loose, okay? So this is not stuff I'm recommending you to do. And if I talk about something and you like it and if you think you want to try it, that's great. But this is not me making a personal recommendation to you because I'm not your esthetician. I'm an esthetician, but I'm not your esthetician and I'm barely an esthetician. So I just want to be that. I want that all to be clear. There's my old staple. I love it. Okay, and I'm not really sorry about it. The TLC Framboos Glycolic Night Serum from Drunk Elephant. I bought this in the fall sale last year. This is the jumbo size. And I think I'm just about to finish it. I'm just about to finish it. This lasted me almost a whole year. I do 2 pumps to cover my whole face, and I do this every other night. I don't like Drunk Elephant as a brand, and I don't think that anyone needs to spend this much on skincare. But this is just what I've not personally found another glycolic, because I've tried. I've not personally found another glycolic serum that I find that works as well, feels as effective as this one does, which is why I come back to it. I have a backup of it, so when this one's gone, I can start it. I bought a backup of it in the spring sale. I still haven't opened it, so we're almost to the fall sale because I bought this. I'm just saying, it's a great product. They make minis of it. It comes in a duo with the marula oil, which I really wouldn't spend that much on marula oil, but it's a good way to like not spend $116 for this. I mean, I think the full size is like 90. The regular full size is like 90-ish. Who knows with inflation anymore. When I worked at Sephora, the products stayed essentially the same price the whole time I worked there. Anyway, do I love Drunk Elephant as a brand? No, but I love this product, and until a better one comes my way, I will continue to use it. I think it's always worth mentioning the Phytosurgeon's Verdant Force Field. I think I'm almost to the point where it's not gonna pump anymore. And I might switch this thing a little bit heavier at night in the fall as we're heading into the fall, but I still probably use this in the morning. It's just a beautiful product. It's green. I don't know if you've never seen it. It's green and it just like melts into the skin. There are a lot of people on YouTube that use this as a primer, which I think it works really well as a primer. I've skipped primer when I've used this as my skincare, but it's so thin and it gets into the skin, but it still moisturizes. Sometimes what I find with something that feels as light as this does, it doesn't give me the moisture, and it might not be enough moisture for someone who has like incredibly dry skin, but for someone who has oily skin, but I always feel like my skin lacks moisture, oil production doesn't necessarily equal moisture, and I just think that this is a really nice one, and so many people swear by this. And it's interesting because it's like, I feel like Phytosurgeons gets its flowers, but I think I'm in such an echo chamber about Phytosurgeons. So if you've never tried this and you are on the hunt, I believe this retails for like 27-ish US dollars. They're a Canadian brand, so and their prices are in Canadian dollars. I almost was like, Canadian is not a word, but that is a word. It's not the most expensive moisturizer. I know that's not like drugstore pricing, but it is of stuff that I use. It's not this expensive. So it's relatively affordable, but I understand that that's not also going to be affordable for everyone. Okay, so the next 2 things are relatively new, and I didn't pay for either one of these things, so I just want to make that very clear. So the first thing that I've been using longer, which is I'm sold on it, Exponent. Exponent joined ShopMy. If you're a creator and you're not on ShopMy, ShopMy is a great way to like connect with brands. You can request PR. Just because you request it doesn't mean they send it to you. But Exponent's been on my radar since I saw Michelle Wong use it, and then I saw Hannah talk about it, and it's been on my radar. So the whole idea of this, which makes a lot of sense to me, I'm not a scientist, but it makes a lot of sense to me, okay, is that the actives don't meet the carrier until you mix them together. They gave me the CoQ10 antioxidant powder, which if I got to pick, which they didn't ask me which one I wanted, and I also didn't state which one I wanted. If I would have picked, I probably would have picked the vitamin C, because I'm not a firm believer, and vitamin C doesn't do a lot for my skin. Like, I don't see a lot of improvement. And that's why, like, I'm saying skincare is such a specific personal journey. If you know what works for you, then continue doing it. So I would be like interested to see how their vitamin C works, especially because vitamin C is so unstable as an ingredient. And I think that maybe this might be a great way for that to come. But anyway, I have seen results with this. So they say that this CoQ10 like brightens and it provides firmness, and I have seen improvement in both of those things since I started using it. I don't know that I would pick like if I go back to Exponent to buy more, I don't know that the CoQ10 one is the one that I would pick. I would probably pick something else. Like I would be interested in trying their retinol. You know, I'd be very interested in trying their other things. So if you are new to the system, let me explain it a little bit because you're probably like, what are you talking about? So inside this box, what's in the box, it's a serum. And so it is one of those systems where you pump and then serum will come out of that hole in the middle. And it does have a lock on it, which I always lock it after I get the serum out. What you do is you put this in, and this is your active ingredient, and you can have multiples of these things. And so it's in a jar. I don't understand why it's in the jar because it's inside of a jar inside of this jar. There's a powder inside of here. So what you do is this places like a key inside of this, and you put it in and you like push and turn at the same time. It makes this like clunk noise. And then you have the powder and the serum in here together, and it's like perfectly measured out. You mix it together like for 8 seconds, and then you put it on your skin. So I really wasn't expecting to like see anything happen with this, but I am seeing like slight results. It's not like obviously super exaggerated. Skincare can only do so much, right? Like it's not looking like I have injectables, but I do feel like my skin, well, I think my skin's always in a pretty good state, and like knock on wood that I want it to stay that way. But I think adding this to the regimen just improved my skin even more. Just evened out my skin tone a little bit. And then also I do think it like, you know, gave me a little bit of plumping, okay? I'm not gonna say that I didn't do that because I think it did. And also, like, I thought I would get sick of this, the novelty factor of this. Like, it's kind of a novelty. I like whenever I'm doing it, I like the kind of ritual. I haven't had any issues, like, of this bothering my other skincare. That might just be a matter of the skincare that I'm using, but I've heard other people say that, like, this doesn't sit well under their skincare or with their other skincare, but it's worked really well for me. So I've been enjoying it. I do kind of like it. I do believe I do believe that the containers, like these are something that's recyclable. Like I don't think it's plastic. It might be, but I think it's like a tin or something like that. So they're easily recyclable, and then whenever you need more of the ingredient, you can, now that I have the system, I would just need to buy this refill as opposed to buying the whole thing. And if I wanted to like commit to Exponent, I could get more of these jars and then just fill each jar with a different one of their actives, and then this would be my serum that I would use. So you would go through the serum a lot faster, but you know, you can just buy the serum to refill. I will have to again watch the video on how to put this together. I mean, it wasn't time consuming. It was just like it wasn't intuitive enough to like look at it and be able to like know how it works. I had to watch the tutorial video on it. So also know that if you don't want your skincare to, I guess, be complicated, then maybe don't do that. Finally, this is like, I started using this last week, and this is something that Tiffany gave to me. So Tiffany works at a med spa. They get like good deals on things, but this happened to expire. But they were like, I don't think, like most of the time, unless it's an SPF, just the efficacy is a little bit down after skincare expires. Like it can turn, like I'm not super concerned that this is expired. Anyway, I'll use it up, and I'm going to. So this is the Zoe Skin Health Wrinkle and Texture Repair. So I have used in the past, I still am using it up because I have it, the Shani Darden retinol, and I really like it. The Shani Darden I like because it's very gentle, and I feel like it's very effective, but very gentle. But if there's something that you should know about me is that I like skincare that feels like something if I'm doing an active. Like I love an active that makes my skin feel like something's happening. When I tried this for the first time, my skin tingled, and I was concerned because I have used retinols in the past where my skin got very sensitive with using them. My skin's a little bit sensitized right now, but I'm still early daysing it with it. I'm using it every other night. So I'm not using it every night, just every other night. It is very lovely. I noticed that it was more effective than the Shani Darden like 4 days in. Like my skin was starting, and it also could be just like I've been using the Shani Darden for a couple of years now, so maybe it's just like also the spice of life that's making me see results with it. And I can't wait to see what happens, you know, a month from now, 2 months from now. Again, I don't think my skin is like really suffering the consequences of age quite yet. Like I'm starting to see them, but this is helping slow things down, and and again, I love the tingle. But I don't think they even still make this. Drunk Elephant made a retinol. I believe it was like a 1% retinol. They might not, I know they have a different retinol, but I don't know if they still make this other retinol. And it came in a squeezy tube. Oh, it made my skin so sensitive. It didn't burn when I put it on. There was like no tingling sensation when I put it on. It was too rough on my skin. And this doesn't feel too rough on my skin, even though that the tingling was a little bit scary at first. It's like a little bit sore, but it's something that my skin will definitely acclimate to, where like the one from Drunk Elephant, I know if I kept using it, I was gonna like do harm to my skin. It's still just like in that adjustment period. With that, a little bit of purging, a little bit of hyperpigmentation is happening on my face, but that means it's working. She's doing. Ooh. I really like this. And I'm excited. I was excited that Tiffany was just like, here, try it. And then it was like such a joyous experience for me. I'm going to talk about this and I'm going to throw this away. I keep holding on to it because I want to keep using it, but I know I shouldn't keep using it. So this is the Surratt Releve Mascara. It's a banger. It's a hit. I'm going to miss it. I love it. It's really good. It has those fibers in it, which I've talked about before, if you've seen my other videos talking about it. So this has fibers in it. It just makes your eyelashes look really sexy. But it's not, like, I feel like the mascara I have on right now kind of clumps my lashes together more than this does. It separates each lash and then adds volume and length because of the fibers. If you have sensitive eyes, I don't think this would be like good, but I just can't get enough of the way my eyelashes look with it. I think it's past its 3 months prime, because I only like to keep my mascaras open for 3 months, and I was testing it for the video, and I fell in love with it when I was testing those Surratt products, and I love it. The next thing I'm going to talk about surprised me a little bit, and we'll talk about, I guess we can talk, I have also some eyeshadow palettes, but these particular single shadows have come back into the fold. So the first thing is the Hypnotising Pop Shot in Smoky Quartz from Charlotte Tilbury. I feel like I hadn't used it in a really long time, and then the other day I used it and then I was like, that's all I want to put on my eyes. You know, I love me a cool tone taupe with like a little bit of a warm base. It's really I don't want to say it's the GOAT for me, but it is. It's like, no, it's like it's the FOTE. It's like the first of all time. So this kickstarted a joy of single eyeshadows that I could wear by themselves, one and done. I have a large singles collection, but nothing I ever look at to be like, that's one and then done. And it changes my view on my single shadows too, the ones that I already have, and made me just like appreciate them a bunch more. So I have a lot to thank to this little thing for that. This was limited edition. You can't get this anymore, but I really love putting this on anytime I'm wearing a cool tone look. It's just so pretty. Putting it on, because I hadn't worn it in a while, reminded me of how much like this sparked joy last year. And I have worn it a couple times throughout the year, but like the past couple of months I've been like pulling this out a little bit more. Along the same lines is Victoria Beckham's Mink. It's like it's like the volume turned up version of Smoky Quartz. I got it right after I got Smoky Quartz, and so Smoky Quartz walked so Victoria Beckham's Mink could run. It's just much deeper, much juicier, just like there's so much to it. And the one thing that I feel like I can't catch up on camera on the back of my hand is just like how much sparkles are in both of these. And I really just appreciate them for that. They're just so simple. I could take a bunch of eyeshadows and get something close to that. And it's like, why bother whenever I have it all together? And I have, you know, layered eyeshadows to get looks similar to both of these. Like I said, like if this is the desired effect and I can get it in like one swipe on my eye, why bother? You know, why bother with those other things? The last thing is another single potted shadow, and it is Fractal Freesia from Phytosurgeons, another Phytosurgeons banger. I think that this is like a favorite product in their repertoire, in Phytosurgeons' repertoire. It's not really a great swatcher because it has a pretty sheer base. There is a little bit of a base, but it is just kind of like sparkles. It's sparkles suspended. They're like golden sparkles, like very like a yellow gold, but it reads more neutral, but I would say, like, if anything, it's leaning a little bit warm. I think they undersell this. Meaning, like, the brand undersells it. There's so many sparkles in it. Every time I wear it on camera, I'm so enamored with the way my eyes look. It's so beautiful and sparkly, especially with the way that I've been wearing my eyeshadow recently, where I've just been, like, building out matte looks and then taking one of my single shades and smearing it on the lid. It's like perfect for that. If you feel like you can't do sparkle or can't do like the intense, I mean, I think they're intense sparkles, but like it's such an easy way to do that. Just like slap it on. And on my oily eyelids, if I don't have a base on, it doesn't hold up all day. But with a base on and over top of powder, like if I've already like put powder on my powder eyeshadow on, This like doesn't crease and holds up very well on me, which is interesting because like cream shadows are not known to hold up very well on me. And so it's just like an impressive product. I know they have other sparkly shades and I'm like, I have my eyes on them. And maybe the next time I order from Phytosurgeons, one or two will find its way into my cart. I guess since we're talking about eyeshadow, I'll talk about some eyeshadow palettes. I'm not gonna swatch these though. I'll just show them to you. The Hindash palettes, Beautopsy, and Monochromance. I love these palettes. I like them because they're very sleek. They're very thin. Okay, and that's it's interesting that that's becoming a selling point in my makeup drawers. Obviously, that would be great if you're like traveling with them or whatever. But like even in my makeup drawers, I like how sleek they are. They just like don't take up a lot of space, and they've kind of outranked. I used to use the Viseart Grand Pro 1X whenever I would do my matte shadows with the slap of the multi-chrome on them, and I've kind of just switched to this. I will go into the Viseart one occasionally, and I still think the Viseart formula is beautiful. But something about these two, I'm like inspired by them. The OG, this is the first one I had, and then I bought this one I bought it secondhand. But formula is so lovely to work with. I love that I can build up the drama or just keep it very sheer. It does so much blurring. It makes your eyes just look poreless, blurred, and then like on the outs, they're just beautiful powders. I do find that now that I've been using them more, the pigmentation's a little bit stronger, and I think it's because like I've used that top layer off of most of the shades at this point because I've been using them so much. But these are like, if I'm building an eye look, it's like my mind just starts here, and it's like what can I go from there? I just adore these so much. I've been reaching for them so much. I almost did a follow-up to my eyeshadow palette thing, which I thought I started months ago, but I only started at the end of August, so I'm going to give it a couple more months. But like the early results are, I don't know that I'm going to be that precious about those eyeshadow palettes when they come back into the fold. I have yet to go reach for one. The only time I've taken one eyeshadow palette out of that purgatory situation, it was the Isamaya one, and the only reason I pulled it out is because I'm testing Isamaya's new eyeshadow palette, and I want to compare the textures and have them next to each other, so whenever I'm applying from the new palette, I'm thinking about the old palette. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But the Hindash palettes, they saved my life. They saved my life. The drama of it all. The next palette, this is the last eyeshadow that I have going on. This is the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes. And you know what it did? It saved me $65 from buying the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude. So many people that I follow on Instagram that have this compared the two, and I was like, I don't need that Natasha Denona I Need a Nude. I already love this, and I already use it all the time. And it's like okay that it's not the Natasha Denona. It's okay that it has a couple less shades. I love this, and I continue to love it. And it kind of like with the Hindash palettes, if I'm building a look but I don't want to use these shimmers, I still pull this out for the mattes all the time. I've used it in conjunction with this Isamaya palette. I've used it in conjunction with just like my beautiful singles collection. It's just a great palette that stands alone but also can be a companion piece to like other beautiful things in your collection. I am a big fan of this particular shimmer in here. I really want Mario to release this formula in singles because I would buy that. And I think it would be better. People have been coming after Space Cowboy's gig, meaning I've seen other content creators being like, it's not that great. I don't have Space Cowboy. I've never had Space Cowboy. I might never have Space Cowboy. But like, this is like the wet look I'm looking for when I'm looking for like a wet look. It's so stunning. And I also think that this is a little bit similar to Fractal Freesia, that shade right there. It's not exactly the same. This has much more base pigment, but like I've used this with Fractal Freesia from Phytosurgeons. I don't know. I'm living the life without my eyeshadow palettes. I'm just saying. I'm not over the Satin Conjal liners from Victoria Beckham. I get along swimmingly with them. They're my favorite eyeliners still, and I've tested a few eyeliners since I've gotten this, so they're still strong. It's like, if I'm doing a warm look, I pull out Cocoa, and if it's a cool look, I pull out Ash. They're kind of the only eyeliners I reach for anymore, and I don't think that I have too many more. I have the Smokey Eye Baton from Surratt. I did keep that. Oh, you know what's so funny is I have a third one of these, and I almost never use it. It's the sequin green. I'm just not as into it. All I need is just plain colors. They're still my preferred eyeliners. I can tell that I'm using them. It doesn't, I mean, obviously, they still are pretty long, but like, I sharpen these quite a bit. The next thing is like a newer product, but I keep wanting to use them. I keep coming to them. The Surratt Dewdrop Concealer impressed me and continues to impress me. I'm still disappointed in the shade range, but it really gives me that beautiful skin-like, it's such a thin formula with such high pigment, and it's like incredibly unexpected in my opinion, just the way that the formula feels interacting with it. And if you put it on the back of your hand, I feel like it looks really matte whenever you're blending it out, but it's not like it dries too fast whenever you use it. It blends out really quite nice. This is shade 2. I'll just show you that one. It looks almost like a really bad concealer whenever you swatch it, but then blend it out, like, it looks like my skin. Look at it. And I've done demos closer up under my eyes showing it before, so if you want to see that, I refer you to another video where they're featured so you can really get up into them. It's the concealer that I have been just, it's the one that I've been reaching for. It's like well, I don't have too many concealers, but it's like it's already surpassed the Givenchy in my mind. And the Givenchy is very good, but I wear that one now as a foundation more so than a concealer. I mean, I've pulled it out as a concealer a couple of times, but I've been reaching for this so much more. I just really love it. It's interesting because whenever I started the year, if you would have said like Tom's gonna fall in love with a concealer this year, I would have been like, I don't even care about concealer that much. And I know that Kackie says that she doesn't like the Armani Luminous Silk. I stand by that being a very great product. It's a really good product. I felt my concealer game elevated. First with the Givenchy, which I'm still more indifferent to than most other people. I think it's very good, but I'm like in love with these Surratt ones. And like if it would be like whenever they're gone, I would want to buy them again. At least at this point. We'll see what as time progresses. This is something that I'm just like putting in. It's still my favorite. I'm still loving the Victoria Beckham primer. It's still the one I always want to use, and this one's almost gone. This is my original one. It's like so light now. It's like any day now. I think that we're gonna get to the end of our relationship, and I'm so sad. I of course have golden. And I can pull that out at any time. It's gonna be golden, obviously, but I'm not gonna run out and buy this right away because I have other primers that I probably should not tempt fate and bring this back into the fold, because when it's here, it's just what I reach for. It's my number one. I'm its number one fan. Oh my god, I'm like its number one fan. Another Muna reference. Get into Muna. Everyone, get into Muna. I am done testing a lot of complexion products right now. Like I'm done testing and I can go to what I want. I've run with open arms back to my beloved Dewdrop foundation. I've missed it. That's what I have on my skin today. It's the best. I'm not gonna talk about this too much. It's my favorite foundation. You can hear me say that in almost any video. I apply it so much. I have a deep dive review. I use it all the time. So if you want to know more, go find another video. But just know, it's still what I'm reaching for. It's still top shelf. Oh my god, there's so many things from Phytosurgeons. So the Phytosurgeons bronzer, this is Rosy Daybreak. It's specifically this shade. I have another shade that I still have kicking around in my collection, but Rosy Daybreak is it for me and my skin tone. It just is such a natural looking bronze on me, and I can't get enough of it. And this formula is really weird, but it really works. It's like this firm pressed balm. If you've ever used their highlighter, it's like pressed very similarly. Pressed, poured, I don't really know. I think it's poured. Is it poured? It's a really waxy formula, but I think that's to its benefit. It works on top of liquids. It works on top of powders. It's just a very agreeable formula, which I did not find that to be true about their highlighter, which has like made this a little bit nervous making whenever I decided to go try these out. I know Phytosurgeons can make a quality product as well, obviously. I just have been celebrating them kind of throughout this video, but this bronzer has changed the game. It's like, to me, like what all other bronzer colors should look like on me. I of course love a more intense bronze. I'm wearing more intense bronze today. I wasn't using Rosy Daybreak today. Whenever I'm doing just like a more chill look, it's always going to be what I'm reaching for. It's so great. And there are so many shades of it. So I mean, I can't recommend it enough. It's really great. I don't have any other bronzers, but we'll talk about this. And I think we could do a little bit of a swatch situation. This is Condensate from Phytosurgeons. This is one of their Skin Spark blushes. And it's a, I don't want to say it's a weird shade, but it is, because it looks like one thing when you do a thick swatch of it, and then when you blend it out, it looks so natural. And kind of like with their bronzer, it like, why would you expect that to look like that blended out? But whenever it is blended out, it's just like a beautiful flush. And especially for, I think, people with like fair skin, and I don't have even the fairest of skin, it looks like something that is pretty organic on us, especially if you tend to like lean into cool tones, or if you have cool, like a little bit of a cool undertone. It's just something that just like you put on, you're like, that makes sense. But another product, which I think is going to actually look very similar to it, which I haven't talked about. This is new, and it like shot straight to the top. This is from Chanel. It's from their Equinox de Chanel collection. It is the the Harmony blush Harmony in beige, rosé, and mauve. And when you look at that, to me, it looks like terracotta in the pan. Even in person, it looks like terracotta. Like it looks just like not, it doesn't look like what it ends up looking like on the cheek, but it does something very similar to what condensate does from phytosurgeons. And I would say that this is like maybe the powder version. It has a little more pink to it, but they're like sisters. And maybe there's another blush that's in the phytosurgeons collection, but like when you put this on the cheek, it doesn't look like that. When you use your brush, it looks more purple on the cheek. And I wouldn't say that like mauve would be a color that I would ever be inspired by, but I really like this blush. And I like the formula of it too. I know that Chanel's blushes got reformulated a couple years ago and it made Michelle Wong very upset. This blush, I want to keep using. I'm very excited about it. And like, I mean, it's not hard to get me excited about a blush. We're going to talk about 2 more blushes. I'm not even done with my blushes, but like, this is a shade that I certainly don't have in my collection. Both of these. There's just like nothing that could compete. I have a lot of oranges in my blush collection, but like there's just nothing like these two. They're very special. I don't think you can get this anymore. I doubt they'll restock it because it was like their holiday collection, but like it was like their fall makeup release. I don't know. I don't know. The way those fashion houses work with their makeup releases, I don't really quite understand how fast one has to move. I'm very glad that I moved. I mean, kind of at a snail's pace. I was like the last person to get one, but I'm glad that I pulled the trigger on it faster than I think I would at other times because of I knew what would happen. Okay, the next 2 blushes I think should come as no surprise. There are a couple of the beiges from Kackie and Finding Ferdinand, and they are restocking at the end of this month. So keep your eyes peeled, keep your eyes on it. Listen, I love the corals. They were fun to play with. I love them. I love Paloma, okay? But Latte and Olay, I wear them both every time. I love to mix them together. They're beautiful, they're gorgeous, they're stunning. They're like the absolute best little beige blushes. I wasn't expecting, I mean, I don't know. I didn't know anything about the Finding Ferdinand formula. It's an interesting formula to interact with, but I have enjoyed it. It's really easy to work with. And like, look at that one. Look at Olay. She's like barely there. And then you got a little bit more going on. Shut up. Kackie took an idea that has also lived in my brain and she just made it happen. She really did that. The next one I have shame about. I know I shouldn't, but like, I'm so sorry. I really do like the Charlotte Tilbury highlight ones. I have the shade Spotlight. It's really done its thing. It's really earned its keep. I still, you know, I'm always gonna stand by like it's not something that you need, but it's been really beautiful. And I mean like I'm also, this is kind of the like I'm the last to know. I'm fairly certain. But I have just, it goes with like anything. It's so easy. You slap it on. It's so nice. And I put on top powder. Put it on. It's just it's not fussy. And I found some other stuff from Charlotte Tilbury very fussy. Not this. I still stand by the way I felt about it in my review. It's like who cares? But then it's like the more you have it interact with it, you're like, okay, okay, okay. Now it's time for you to shut up. Okay, like you've been talking at me very loudly and you are just a highliner. I'm gonna need you to like turn the volume down a little bit. And I'm saying that not in like its brightness. It's a very natural glow. It's beautiful glow. I hate that I love it. There are alternatives if you want to seek it out. I would just skip the, if you have the means to skip the alternative and you want to try it, I wouldn't, I didn't like the Flower Beauty one as much. Don't buy it. You don't have to buy it. Again, I stand by the way I feel about it. It's like, it's not a need. It's not something that's changing lives over here. If you have highlighters that you already like that give you a glow from within, I don't think it's something that you need to run out and buy. But I have it, and I've been using the hell out of it, which annoys me. Okay, the last couple things. I have a couple lip products. Gucci Royal Scandal got pulled back into the, oh my god. Got pulled back into the fold. The beautiful gray. The gray of it all, the grayish of it all, the baby poop of it all. It has a little bit of green in it. I haven't used it in a while. I kind of like the way it smells. I think at first I had an aversion to it, but I think it's one of those things where as I like it more, it happened with Fix Plus too. It's like as I like it more, I'm like, sorry, I mean, this isn't revolutionary, but I just was like, what if I wore this as a blush? Something to think about. Hannah's had to have done that at this point, right? You know, as we head into the fall months, I think she's gonna really come out to play. This lip liner from Makeup Forever. I know that this is like a cult classic favorite product. This is Endless Cacao, but it's just the formula in general. I've pulled it every time I've done a lip recently, as long as it's a cool toned lip. It's been the lip liner I've been reaching for. And it's interesting because it's Endless Cacao and it looks much more brown on here. When I put it on my lips, I'm assuming this is a color theory situation. It just looks gray. I know it has like the brown in it here. It doesn't, I mean, it's cool tone looking, but it doesn't look cool toned enough to be like, that's just gray. It looks great whenever I wear it. And I hate to put this in a top shelf video before I've done my thorough review of it. But I've been wearing the Isabella Lip Black, like, all the time. Like, you can see that I've used it so much in a very short period of time. Because I think I love the way it looks. I love wearing it in videos. I love wearing it for photos. I just love it. It's so good. Really, really great. I am losing my mind. I've been recording so long. It has too much glitter in it. It has so much glitter in it, and I love that. I just love glitter. That's what we all should walk away with the knowledge of. That's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. We talked about so many things today, so I hope you found joy in just hanging out with me while I talked about some of my favorites. I don't do favorites a lot, especially for this reason, because it's like, it's so good, it's so good. It's so good, it's so good. I mean, I really feel the rush when I talk about my favorite products. That's that on that. Subscribe if you'd like, or not. I mean, I would like it if you subscribe. You can do it if you'd like. You can turn on notifications also if you'd like. Guess what? Guess what? I'm spoiling you. As we're heading into this heavy consumerism this time of the year, Critical Sass has gotten extra episodes ordered, babes. So Critical Sass, we're doing it twice a month again. Only till the end of the year. And then in the new year, we'll go back to once a month. That'll probably be how we like progress with that moving forward. But we're also gonna try something new. We're gonna do, the next video will be shopping my stash for what came out. So like what I mean by that is like, if there's a release I'm interested in, what I'm gonna try to do is like find stuff in my collection that fills the gap, fills what that was. So it's kind of like a follow-up. So it's like you get the Critical Sass, we talk about what's good, we talk about what's not. We really focus on what's not, because I know this is a time where it's very easy to part ways with your money as we head into this holiday season, especially with all of the new releases that come out and like the fun new shiny things. The follow-up video, the next video will be like walking the walk. It's like, okay, this thing is getting released and like I really want to buy it, or like I can tell a lot of you are really excited about it. I'm gonna shop through my collection, and that's to be like, to show you that's like, maybe look at your collection first. You know, that's all I'm asking. Stop, look and listen, okay? Go listen to Recollect on Spotify. I beg you. I'm not begging you. You can. I'm on Patreon. I beg you. I'm not begging you. You don't have to do Patreon. You should listen to Recollect. I'm gonna keep, I said in the last episode of Recollect, I was like, I won't cease until all 4,000 of you go over there and listen. So help me help you, help me help you, help me help you. Thank you so much for watching. And remember to follow your hope, and you will find me. I'll see you in a video very soon. Bye-bye.